FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook, and there's still time to get in on the action right now. New customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed with a $5 bet. That's $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. The app is easy to use, and there are so many different ways to bet, including live same-game parlays. You can find bets in the Explorer tab. You can make a parlay in the Parlay Hub, which is the best way to find popular parlays and much, much more. So visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to make your first bet a layup. FanDuel, an official partner of the NFL. Guys, the Cavs were playing at the same time as the Browns yesterday.
Who made that scheduling flaw?
Yeah, that was
the same thing to Mike
Why
yesterday.
was that is ridiculous.
I don't know. Yeah,
especially with Wemby in town. The one time Wemby comes, but they beat Wemby. Jarrett Allen's playing out of his damn mind right now.
Crazy block. That block
He
was
blocked
crazy.
the crap out of Wemby. I'll show that in a sec. But is what they're doing right now sustainable? From what you guys have seen over the last 2 weeks, they've changed their offensive philosophy. They're playing faster, shooting more threes. They're winning without Garland and Mobley. They're not better without Garland and Mobley, but it's working right now. Is it sustainable?
Well, listen, they're playing with one big shooters, shooting a lot of threes. I'll give credit where credit is due. I'll be tough on Jarrett Allen. But for the last, I would say, month and a half, Jarrett Allen has been playing well. He's been dunking everything by the rim. He's been aggressive. He's had games where he had 16, 17, 18, almost 20 points in the first half. He's back to looking like, what Jarrett Allen looked like before they drafted Evan Mobley. And I think this is a gift and a curse because what it says is you can only really play one of them together.
That's my point too.
You can only play one of them together, and Evan Mobley has more upside, so it puts you in a position where it's like, okay, can you bring him off the bench?
Does he have more upside?
We thought he did.
Because I got to tell you, and Jason, I'm really curious to see where you're thinking, and I love what you said. My point on all of this is they're kind of the same guy. And I think, for me, I'm wondering now, how much has Mobley stunted Allen's growth?
Not the vice versa?
No.
That was
No, well, listen.
Has Allen?
Listen.
Has Mobley stunted? Go ahead.
But no, I'm flipping it because
The ultimate zag.
I like, but I like what I've seen out of Allen without Mobley in there. And I got to tell you, I've seen Mobley enough without Allen in there.
Don't look the same. Right?
I mean, I know it defies what our initial logical statement is that Mobley's going to be the guy for this team. But I think I've changed my thinking on that. And I don't know. Is Mobley still well enough thought of around the league that you could move him and get a nice package?
I don't think they're moving either one of them, although I do agree. It's always been, the plan was always a big in the middle and 4 shooters around him. Like, that's how you play. And it was just, I've written it 100 times, the thought was always, it's Mobley. It's the Mobley's in the middle with 4 shooters around him. That's when this team's going to be at its best. Jarrett's done really, really well. He's only 25. Like, it's not like he's an old man. He's only 25.
He seems so much, I would have guessed he was much older than that. That's funny.
And Evan's 22, so there's not a big age gap there. I do think they're going to have a hard time offensively playing them together. I don't know if that's sustainable for the long term. But this run that they're on, and Jarrett's playing out of his mind. He's playing great.
Last 11 games, Jarrett Allen is averaging 19.4 points and 13.2 rebounds.
Well, I think we did have the graphic of
Did
that,
you have?
right?
Is that what you said?
I had last 10 games.
Yeah,
but
last 10
essentially,
games.
Yeah,
I added an 11th.
The numbers are virtually the same.
Well, he scored 25 in 11 games.
He's playing.
It's even better if you go 11
guys,
games.
like if you put a cover over the player's picture and name, and you just show me those numbers and told me that they were Mobley's, I'd be. You know what I would say? It's about damn time.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I'm beginning to ask the question. It's possible we've had it wrong. It wouldn't be the first time in sports that everybody got it wrong. I don't know. I don't think that this team can play the two of them together successfully through a playoff run. I think it's either or. And I've seen, and it's a small sample size, but I really like the way this team plays. They play differently. I don't know that they are better. I'm not sure. But I would be okay if they got a nice package for Mobley and decided that this is what we're going to look like moving forward.
But what makes that tricky also is that you're probably going to have to trade Donovan Mitchell.
Well, I don't know that. I'm not operating this scenario under that premise.
Well, but
because Bull,
yeah.
if they move forward, if they were to trade Mobley and got a really nice package, and I mean a serviceable player right now, and maybe a draft pick, I think I would like to see a playoff run with Allen as the key big, and whatever piece they could get in a Mobley trade and Donovan Mitchell. I just think they look better to me.
Hey, what can I get if we moved Donovan Mitchell and Mobley to the Lakers?
Oh, now see, that changes my scenario.
No, to Lakers. I want LeBron and Reeves.
Well, no, that
the Lakers wouldn't take
they
Mobley to
would
pair with Davis. That doesn't make sense from their
no.
side.
Well,
You're making my head explode.
So I'm trying to figure out what's on this team constituted. I need to get LeBron back.
Well, we could get him for nothing
He's
after
a
the
free agent
season.
after the year. It's just
So I wouldn't give up
cap space
anything.
at that
Yeah,
point.
this is his last year.
And he looks miserable too, Jason.
Well,
What did he say yesterday? We suck?
I mean, it's what time? It's January, so this is time for LeBron to start.
Sure, and he already has.
did you see the awkward interaction he had with some foreign
It was
reporter?
hilarious. It
That
was
was
I
so
didn't see
funny.
it. What happened?
He was actually not. He didn't like go off on him or anything.
No.
So it was just coming on. Like, I guess the Lakers got killed. They were playing like crap. He was in a terrible mood, and some reporter, probably
He's an
from
international guy.
right? International guy asked him about Ricky Rubio.
He was sent there with one assignment. You
He
know how
wanted
it
a quote
is.
on Ricky
Get the
Rubio.
Rubio quote.
You're sent in the locker room.
Yep.
Get LeBron to talk about Rubio. And they say one more question, and this poor guy.
Oh, God.
Now, LeBron handled it nicely.
It's probably
I
the
thought.
first time he's been in an NBA locker room.
Yeah, and LeBron's like, I'm not really in the mood to talk about it. And he said a couple
No
nice
disrespect
things.
to Ricky.
Do your feature story another time.
He goes, Ricky, if you see this video, I'm pissed off, and it's not you. It's this guy's got bad timing for asking me this now. And
That's a good way to handle it.
I mean, he's always on. He's always on and understands.
It was funny.
Yeah, that's a
But-
bad job out of the reporter.
But JB was saying the other night that, like, he's old school. He doesn't hide the fact he doesn't really love all the analytics of just jack threes. But with the injury situation they're in, that's the way they're playing now. They
You have
just
to do
run
it.
out and jack threes,
Yeah.
and it's working for them to this point. When you say things like, "Is it sustainable?" I look at playoff success. Like that's
Yeah.
all that matters is playoff success. Can you win in the playoffs with just Jarrett Allen and not Evan Mobley? No, I think you need both of those guys. But I don't know how well they fit together. They're going to have to figure out a way, if you want to start them together, to get time with them off the floor to where it's one of them with 4 shooters around them. That's their best chance, I believe, of success.
Let me ask it this way. If we were to rate on a 1 to 10 how the two gel together when they're on the floor at the same time, where is that experiment and that continuum right now?
Well, defensively, they're great.
No,
Like,
I know defensively
it
they're great,
works.
but that was we saw that didn't carry over to the playoffs.
It did not. And part of it also was that the Okoro piece, there had nobody there.
Right.
They fixed that to where there's at least you can put 3 shooters on the floor with the 2 of them that the other team has to guard. But
So where are they? Is this a 6? Is it a
Yeah.
7?
on a 1 to 10 scale
Yeah.
of what? Success in the playoffs?
No, if you had to judge how this has gone so far with the two of them together,
5, 6.
Mobley and Allen, that's where I am. I'm like a 5 for maybe I can be pushed up to a 6.
Yeah.
Because at times I say, oh, it can work. That
Yeah.
looked really
Well,
good.
the reason-
but overall, no.
The reason why it has sputtered is because Mobley's 3-point shot never really developed.
No, that's a big part of it.
And if Mobley's 3-point shot came along, we're having an entirely different conversation because now it's Allen with 4 shooters and Mobley's one of those shooters.
Right.
But I think that
Yeah.
the Cavs have sort of sunset that idea for now
Yeah.
of, listen, it's just not there. And another thing, and I know we've talked about this before, when you talk about Mobley's development and growth, I 100% believe some of it has been stunted by the fact he's on a good team that's trying to win.
Sure.
And when you're taking the position he is, 9 times out of 10, 99 times out of 100, you're on a bad team and they're feeding you the ball and you're kind of getting your feet about you and you're kind of learning what works and what doesn't.
Scotty Barnes.
And the Cavs don't have that luxury. It's not a luxury. It's a good situation they're in.
Yeah.
They're trying to win.
Yeah.
But at the expense of that is the growth rate of a guy like Evan Mobley may be a little bit slower.
Isn't some of that on him,
because,
though?
Well, but it's the priority is not developing Evan Mobley. The priority is winning basketball games. And a lot of times that's not the case when you take a guy
Right.
3rd overall. The priority is, hey, we're not going to be good for a couple of years, Let's develop this guy.
And one conflicts with the other.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
We got to give JB some credit. People have been
Oh,
crapping
for
on him
sure.
all year.
Yeah.
They've won. I know they played a lot of bad
Rumors
teams,
have
but they've
been
won 8
hot
of 11.
rumors have been hot on him since prior to the season that he wasn't going to make it. He wasn't going to make it.
He's made great adjustments
still
here
here.
with the injuries, and they've won 8 of 11.
I mean, we talk about the Browns and the job Kevin Stefanski's done. JB's done the exact same thing. They lost Darius. They lost Mobley. Donovan's been in and out. And they keep winning games.
Yeah. Now, as you said, none of it matters if they go out in the first round of the playoffs
That's
again.
right.
But they're playing well, and they're a 3-way tie for 4th or whatever in the East.
3-way tie for 4th. Yep.
Right. I think they're only a game and a half out of 3rd.
2.5, but yeah.
2.5. Right.
Can I push back a little bit on the Mobley thing, Jason?
Sure.
There are certain players who, just by their natural development, force the coaching staff and their teammates to get them more involved. I look at Austin Reeves as an example.
Yep.
In LA, on a winning team.
Yep.
He was an undrafted guy. Alex Caruso with the Lakers as well a couple years ago. Had
Yep.
played so well where they had to incorporate them in the offense more because it'd be basketball malpractice not to. Evan Mobley hasn't taken the steps to where Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, Bickerstaff, whoever's making those decisions have forced him into more of an offensive decision-maker position. And I do think that's where you can look at the Cavs and Mobley and be like, we expect a little more in year 3 from a guy. Now, yeah, he's been hurt, and his offensive numbers have been better this season. But even when he was playing with or without Allen, he was never a focal point in the offense like some other guys who have forced their way into
That's a good point.
being played.
I think his game looks just like it did. I expected, particularly this year, I expected there to be a noticeable jump. And I didn't see it.
For me, it comes down to the lack of the three-point shot. That's an absolute game changer.
Have they punted on that idea, by the way? Because I think they should.
And that's why him and Allen can't play together, right? In the playoffs.
That's what makes it difficult to play because there's no room. The lane is congested. You know, I mean, the championship years they were at their best because you had ball dominant creators who could drive and kick, get in the lane, collapse the defense, and kick to the shooters. Channing Frye standing there in the corner with his feet set, he's going to hit it 50% of the time. But when the lane is congested and there's nowhere, and we saw that in the playoffs last year, there was nowhere for Donovan and Darius to go because there you had 5 people on the floor. You had Mobley, you had Jarrett, you had the 2 guys guarding him, and you had the guy who's guarding Isaac or whoever else. So there's 5 guys. There was nowhere for those guys to go. Excuse me. The lack of the three-point shot for Evan, I think, is probably for me the biggest disappointment in the lack of growth that I thought he'd have by now. I thought he would be a more confident
Do you see them
three-point
making
shooter.
a move?
No. At the deadline,
There's nothing they could do that's going to make Donovan Mitchell change his mind about being here, right?
No.
Win.
win at a high level.
He wants
and
to
even
win.
that mean, Kawhi Leonard won a championship and still left Toronto.
Yeah, that's true.
If a guy wants to go, he wants to go, and there's nothing you can do about that. And that's
So
his
that
right.
affects you. Whether you, in theory, if you could turn Evan Mobley into some good veterans that could give you a much better chance, you might do it if Donovan Mitchell was all in.
They're not trading Mobley for the right. They're not trading Mobley in any scenario. He's
They
not
are
going
not
anywhere.
trading Mobley. They're not trading Garland.
So 5 years from now, we're going to look down the road and say, oh, it was worth it. He delivered the championship we thought he could.
Well, I think that they're looking at this. They're not even looking at this as Donovan being a core long-term piece, but I think they are absolutely looking at Garland and Mobley and Jarrett as being core long-term
Now,
pieces.
the difficult part about it is I don't know if Darius Garland. It's projection. Like you're projecting that this guy's going to be as good as he is. Like Evan Mobley, if you look at it, if you watched him play at USC, he's not fluent like that. Like he's not bowl. He doesn't have. I don't even think he has a skill set like Thon Maker. And these guys aren't that good. Or Chet Holmgren. Those guys shoot threes fluently. We're not even going to talk about Wemby, right? You go. Look, who's the kid with the Rockets? That guy.
Sengun.
Sengun. These guys pull up natural. Pull up jumpers. These guys take it off the dribble, left hand, right hand, hooks, whatever you want. I seen Wemby go behind his back. I said, oh goodness. Evan Mobley is still a 2-dribble robot type.
Did you just put Thon Maker in the same sentence as Chet Holmgren?
Skill
on.
set. Well, I'm saying he could dribble and shoot. Like I'm not saying
Jason's offended.
Like I'm not saying this guy is great.
You raised my eyebrows when you said that.
If you
start with Bol and Thon Maker, and then you pivot to Wemby and Chet Holmgren.
I mean, but if you roll the ball out to him in a gym and tell him to shoot 100 jumpers, they'll be like, wow, these guys are 7-footers hitting these jumpers. What I'm saying is skill set wise, Mobley hasn't shown me like that he even has that in his package. That's not in his tool bag.
Do you think right now, if it had been Allen that was out instead of Mobley, that Mobley would be putting up these kind of numbers?
Probably not to that extent.
We've seen that. We've seen him for stretches without Allen.
He has been dominant for stretches. He has. I don't know about.
But with this exact group, like no Garland and no Allen, just Mitchell and Mobley and the shooters.
He's been more aggressive. I think Jarrett Allen's been way more aggressive than Evan Mobley.
I think Jarrett needed this after
I do too,
the
for his
way last
confidence.
season ended. I think he needed
Jay,
a stretch like this.
I'm somewhat confused because do we all agree that they can't make deep runs with the two of them together, playing as they are now?
Mobley and Allen?
Yeah, I don't think they can. I mean, maybe I'm in the minority here. Do
How
you guys
can you
think,
have two? Two guys who don't shoot.
and
I'm
they're-
not fully writing it off yet, but I don't love the prospect.
So here's what I'm trying to get you on the progression here. You saying, oh, that's a non-starter. There's no way they're trading him. And that's probably true. I'm just asking the question, should it be investigated? And the first question you have to ask before you get to that point is, can we win together, either with or without Mitchell? That's irrelevant to me. Can these two guys carry a team deep into the playoffs the way they're currently playing? Maybe it's premature, but my answer to that is no. And if it is a no, the next question in the continuum is, so which one goes?
I think they could win that way if both of them are playing like top 5 defensive bigs.
No, I
if
agree with that.
If they play that to that level, you can make some stuff up offensively.
We're all going to get sick from Jason now.
Yeah, during the course of the show, it feels like you're really starting to go downhill fast.
I'll be fine.
Okay.
I'll be fine.
Place hurt.
Now I lost my train of thought. Thanks.
Okay, so I was saying is the next question here.
Yeah.
First question is, do we think these two can carry the Cavs deep into the playoffs?
Well, you need,
and I don't.
You need elite shooters at the other 3 spots. Like you need really, really good shooting at the other 3 spots.
Right.
If you're going to,
and I think they've improved their shooting,
And
but
they
we're not
have.
elite.
Well, I mean, I'm not talking Steph Curry elite, but like Darius and Donovan are pretty good shooters. Max is a pretty good shooter. George Niang's like you need.
I think they're all pretty good. The
Yeah,
3 guys you
yeah.
mentioned, but they're not elite.
Well, no, maybe I phrased it wrong. You just need 3 guys who can
Really shoot.
You
Who
just
can
need
really
shooting.
shoot.
You just
Okay,
gotta
so
just
so
shoot.
your answer then to the question is yes, they can make a deep playoff run with these 2 guys,
I
with the
don't know.
shooters they have.
I see because I can't take. There's so much at play here, and the Donovan thing is a completely different conversation.
It is.
And so it's hard for me to like separate one from the other because the Donovan thing impacts everything else. And
It does, but would you agree that winning gives you a much better chance of keeping him long term? See, I think this is more urgent than 2-3 years down the road, and here's why. We don't want this experiment with Donovan to end after a first-round playoff exit this year. And he said, it just didn't develop like I thought it would. I thought this was going to be a place where we could have success. It didn't happen. And for that, I'm going to Brooklyn. So I'm just trying to get ahead of that storm.
That's coming.
I feel it is. So I'm trying to get ahead of that storm. And what I'm asking, and this is a serious organizational question. Mike says they're not willing to have that conversation. What I would be doing as an organization is saying, we've got a couple months to get this right to keep the peace. So what do we get for a package for either or? And
well, Mobley would bring back more than Jarrett.
I
Allen.
think he'd bring a ton.
I mean, Jarrett's making $20 million a year. Mobley's on a rookie deal.
Jason, let me ask you and Mike this. You guys both said, no, they're not going to trade him, not going to trade him.
They're not
Are
gonna
you
trade him.
saying that because you just don't think they're going to trade him, or are you saying that because you don't think they should trade him?
Both. Yeah, I don't think they should trade him. I still think the upside's too high.
So
with
then
Mobley.
they can get to where they want to go. Ultimately, they can win a championship with Mobley and Allen together.
Here's
He ain't said all that.
and again, like, well, no. Here's the thing, because I said this on the radio the other day.
It's an either or.
There's two tracks here. There's the track the Cavs are on with Donovan, and then there's this other track.
Right.
Like Evan Mobley in 5 years could be a monster. Like he could be a impact, high level #1 player on a championship team. Darius could be great. They could be awesome. Donovan's going to be long gone by then.
So then why not trade Donovan then?
Fair
That's
question.
a fair question.
I mean, if that's
a fair question.
I think you either have to trade Donovan or have to trade Mobley.
I
One
agree.
or the other.
I agree with that 100%.
We all know we be playing dumb.
Yeah.
We all know how this ends. We've had LeBron and Kyrie. What are you guys talking about? Like LeBron made his mind up when he was like 5. He was going to leave. Kyrie was always leaving. He's going to continue to leave. Listen, Kawhi Leonard won a championship and was like, "Peace out, homie. I'm going back to LA." We know where this ends, so just get in front of it and get some pieces.
And that's another reason why you don't trade Mobley is because you control him for another what? With a rookie extension,
6 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got Donovan for a year and a half. You've got Mobley for 6 years. So, and if you trade Mobley and then you lose Donovan, now where are you?
So I think that
so it's a non-starter.
the question is the one Bull asked.
non-starter.
Yeah, I mean,
because if that's the case, and it is, then I just think long term, we all know what's coming.
Yeah.
This dude is out. It's coming.
the problem is, can you get do the Nets have a package that would be
He's a
worth
rental
making
for
it
4 months.
I don't know that. I don't know what he's going to bring back. It's not going to be anything close to what the Cavs gave up, and that's another reason why maybe you hold on to him at least through this year and try and make a deep run, and then reassess your options
if
after
he
that.
walks at the end.
No,
Well, he's got one more year.
He's
Got
got
one
more year after
Okay, so do you think that he plays for the Cavs next year?
No.
I don't either.
No.
So I just think we're kicking the can down the road. Do it.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get more if you do it now.
The upside of doing it now is he would be the biggest name on the market. There is
Yep.
no other big star available. There's not so many teams have already traded away all of their trade assets, draft assets. I mean, Miami would be in. Maybe Brooklyn is in. Maybe I don't know that it's a guarantee.
They're-
What do
Brooklyn
you
wants
get?
him.
Does Brooklyn have a package that the Cavs would be interested in?
Yes.
We want Bridges
They do, Mike?
immediately.
Brooklyn has
I mean, they
a ton
got
of.
they got all the picks from the KD trade.
That's it.
Oh, okay.
Brooklyn just took all of Phoenix's picks when they traded KD, so they've got what the Cavs are looking for. Miami can't put together a great package, but I'm sure they would be in on them. So I think it's something that you have to look at. Yeah.
Do you think
I
they will do it?
No.
Make a move like that?
I don't think that they will.
See, as a fan, I mean, we've talked about
That's
this
crazy.
in theory a lot. Be bold. Make the
Yeah.
moves. They made
Well,
the
they
move
did.
with Donovan. They
They were
made it, but
bold.
I think we've all realized that didn't
Yeah.
work out. Same with the Deshaun thing. Bold, big, go, that hasn't worked out.
Yeah.
They're where they are now in spite of that move. So,
Yeah.
I think once you realize that this isn't the mix, then don't keep playing the hand, fold and get a new hand.
Well, they would say we've had 11 games together with our starters. How do we know what is and what isn't?
I get that.
And I think that's a fair point.